Good evening, guys, and happy Thursday to all of your sunshiny faces. Pardon the mess up here. We just got back. Well, we didn't just get back. We got back from the funeral at like 9:30. And so I am clearly changed out of my nice clothes. Pulled my hair up, which is like my bangs right now are not actually attached to like really anything, or they're just barely in like this bun I sort of threw up. So that's why it kind of looks a little crazy right now. And then on top of that too, I'm like wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt because I'm stinking cold, guys. But as I was telling you guys before, you know that my uncle had passed away on the 30th of December, I think it was, or something like that. Maybe, yeah, I think it was the 30th of December. And so his funeral ended up, well, his funeral in the wake sort of ended up being today. It was sort of just like an all-in-one sort of thing. But it was, you know, the actual funeral service was a little hard, you know, like to keep down and stuff like that. And I'll be honest, guys, in the actual funeral service I started sort of freaking out because I was like, what if I start crying? I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to breathe like through my mask, you know, like, you know, when you start crying you sort of get, you know, your nose gets all kind of runny too. And I was like, I can't, like, you know, like I was starting to freak out because I was like, you know, my grandma's funeral, like, you know, didn't have to wear a mask or anything like that. And so at the very beginning of it, when it first started, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sort of like I said, freaking out a little bit here. And then yeah, I actually never needed like a Kleenex or tissue or anything like that. I didn't actually. I got choked up, my eyes got watery, and again my nose got like a little stuffed up, but I never actually like full on like cried. My uncle ended up doing, which is my uncles, technically I guess they're my second cousins, or first cousins, I think. My uncle, who, the one that ended up passing away, was my grandma's brother-in-law, her sister's husband. And his son ended up giving the, you know, like a eulogy, and then also to like their really good family friend. She ended up giving, I think, sort of like the eulogy, and then my uncle also gave one, and my grandma's best friend gave one at her like funeral wake service. And then my uncle, again, I guess technically my second cousin or whatever, or first cousin, I don't know how you figure the cousin stuff. They're older than me. They're my mom's cousins. Always called them, like I said, just my aunt and uncle. But he ended up giving, like I said, like the eulogy, and that got me real choked up. But he, like, the way he speaks is just like so like calming sort of, and like, you know, the way he like pauses in like certain like moments, like he knows how to give a speech, which is like amazing. So he's a really good person to, you know, give the story. And so he was actually, I think I was telling you guys too about my uncle, and sort of like, you know, his struggles and stuff like that, because he was, you know, an American citizen during World War II, who was at the age of 2. His mom took him and his older sister and older brother, along with, I guess, I didn't know this, I believe it was his aunt, and cousins, ended up going to Germany to go visit their grandma who was sick. And that was in 1939, and, you know, World War II had just broke out, like right after, you know, like shortly after they were there, and they couldn't get back home. And so him actually telling this story, the full sort of story, because I heard my uncle telling this story to my mom, but I sort of just caught bits and pieces of it. I didn't actually hear like the whole thing. So as my uncle was actually telling, you know, sort of his early life story in the eulogy, and sort of all the things that he went through and stuff like that, I was like, that's so cool. And it was just so amazing, like, you know, again, sort of things that I knew a little bit but didn't really know all of that much of. And so the thing that really upset me was that, you know, for a while, my mom, this was again a couple of years ago, and my mom had really sort of heard this story, and I had really wanted to record it, either like you know, like just audibly or, you know, with actual video or something like that of him actually telling this story, you know, just sort of for family and stuff like that as well. And I had heard that somebody through their church was actually taking down sort of like, again, his life story and was going to actually write it up, you know, as a book. I think mainly just for them, but possibly even like to actually publish it. But I don't know like what ended up coming of that. But you know, now that again he's passed away, I'm really upset that again we never got sort of those stories, you know, just the ones that he is told to, you know, again, other people and their retelling of the story now, instead of actually having it firsthand from him, you know. So, but the thing that, you know, like I said, he told my mom this story several years ago, and recently in his older age, you know, I don't know how well or how accurate or, you know, descriptive or anything like that some, you know, the story would have been, or parts that might have been left out that again he told, you know, his son, or but you know, when he's retelling the story again, if I were to have, you know, recorded it or something like that, you know, wouldn't have, you know, gotten that story, or those pieces if he might have not remembered it or something like that. So that's one thing that I was kind of, you know, like I said, just sort of frustrated that we were never, like I said, my mom said the same thing too, like, you know, that she was just, she really wished we could have, you know, like taken the story down somehow as well, you know, just to actually have it from, again, a first-hand account from actually what he was telling, and stuff like that. Because like I said, hearing it from my uncle, you know, again, in the eulogy and everything like that, I was like, oh, that's like, you know, really cool. But again, some of the things that he was saying was things that my uncle was even leaving out when he was retelling the story to my mom. So, you know, again, it was just, you know, like his whole life, and not really even realizing, like, you know, I sort of knew that, but then actually, again, because my uncle is such a great storyteller, like I said, and, you know, just the way he gives sort of those speeches and everything like that, hearing it from him sort of, you know, like really like made me go like, wow, I didn't really realize that. You know, like I said, my uncle was German and everything like that, and so he was, like everybody said it too, sort of a man of few words. Like, he didn't talk to you a whole lot, you know, or really go out of his way. He's kind of a little bit more quiet. Again, as my uncle was even saying, like, he wasn't really the life of the party or anything like that. And it was just weird because, again, we hadn't seen family since pretty much last Christmas last year. For, you know, that was the last time that we got together with family, because we couldn't get together for Easter because we were all in lockdown and everything. And then most of the recent family, you know, holidays and stuff like that too, we had to, you know, kind of postpone and everything like that, just because of, you know, the virus and stuff like that. And so, you know, that, like I said, it was weird because it'd been pretty much a year since we'd seen him. So, you know, it didn't feel like, oh, like, you know, we lost him, you know, like, again, a week or two ago, whatever, you know, what was it, 8 days ago or something like that now. You know, it feels like I haven't seen him for a year. Like, you know, it felt more like that amount of time that had passed. And especially too, like today, seeing everybody else and then not him there, you know, like my aunt without him. But like Matthew was saying too, is like at parties sometimes he would sort of, you know, just sink into a couch or chair or something like that, and sometimes kind of doze off, and every once in a while, you know, like then he'd pop back up and, you know, go do something. But that's kind of how it felt like today, like he was just kind of dozing off in a chair or something like that, and you're just sort of like waiting for him to, like, you know, kind of just come around the corner or something like that, and it wasn't how it was. And so yeah, but like I said, that's just, it was really, I think it was tough sort of today too, to like see everybody and then sort of be like, you know, my aunt, who's normally, again, more the people person, I guess, you know, to see her there and then sort of being like, oh, where is he, like, you know, kind of looking around and stuff like that, and just sort of realizing like, oh, he's not like with her, you know. And they've been together for, married for 58 years, I believe, and they've been together longer than that. So yeah, that's why, guys, today you know, today was just filled with, I think, a lot of emotion. But it was a tough day for sure, but at the same time too, it was good to see family, especially too, that we hadn't seen in pretty much a year now. You know, and I mean, under these circumstances isn't great, but, you know, we all had to wear masks and socially distance and everything like that. So it was like still not even really being able to see people's faces is like, you know, also kind of tough. And yeah, so that's why, guys, today's vlog is gonna be kind of short, maybe not the most uplifting and everything like that, but the one good thing was that my cousin, actually, who in spite of recent events, I guess, that have been going on, actually was originally not going to be able to come home as of yesterday. He wasn't going to be able to fly home, and you know, and on top of that too, yesterday was huge safety concerns, like for my cousin and stuff like that. And so actually being able to see him there today at the funeral, which he wasn't supposed to make it for, like, we walked in and I saw him and I was like, oh my gosh, like my jaw pretty much just dropped. I was like, I can't believe that he's here. And that was also, you know, like a huge thing. I think that was definitely something that was sort of on like families' minds, and family has been, you know, very anxious about right now. So actually having him, you know, here today, and you know, like I said, not obviously under the best circumstances, but still him being able to make it home and everything like that was also like one good thing and one positive too, that, you know, I guess sort of came out of everything. So yeah, I didn't end up getting to too much today. I did upload this morning, but I didn't end up actually getting to edit anything, because by the time I pretty much had finished uploading, I didn't have too much time, and I wanted to try and make sure that I ate before we went, and so I took a while to make myself food and everything like that. And then we went, like I said, it was a 5-hour in total, like between the funeral service and the you know, sort of, like I said, they had like a wake as well, which was just sort of like the visitation and everything. So it was at 5 hours. We ended up getting there at 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. It was 4 hours in total, but again, because we were considered, I guess, more immediate family, my mom wanted to be there like an hour early so that we could, you know, we got flowers, and so we wanted to make sure that we got the flower arrangements and, you know, help kind of get some things set up and stuff like that too. So we were there obviously a little earlier than everybody else when it actually started. So anyways, yeah, guys, we'll see you guys, I guess, all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.